Morning. Happy Saturday. How's everybody doing? Yeah, we're live. Saturday morning comics. Glad you're hanging out with me this morning. Um, yeah, we've got some stuff to get to. CBC Awards. We're getting rapidly closing in on the CBC Awards. It's almost October. September flew by. So yeah, we'll get into some stuff today, but appreciate as I sip the beverage. Let's check in with the chat. Brad is here. Good morning, Brad. John is here, up early on the West Coast. Appreciate you being here. David, just your average geeks. Dave, appreciate you being here. Always supporting. Mike is here. Evils Comics. He's got to change. Mike, I think you need to change your name to Evils Gaming. He is just playing through a bunch of games on over on his channel, live streaming. Definitely got to go check it out. Dante's here. Good morning. Canadian Survivalist. Good morning. JSS in the house. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. He's saying good morning. Yeah, we'll check in with the chat as people roll in on a Saturday morning. Weather-wise, we've had like a stretch, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, no rain, great weather. And now we've got a little bit of rain and we have a possible storm. I don't even think it's classified as a tropical storm yet, but looks like we may get hit with a little tropical storm, possibly hurricane by Monday night, Tuesday. That's how it's kind of tracking. So, but I'm inland in South Carolina, so it's obviously going to hit the coast first, and then so they're worried. I think the governor actually declared a state of emergency this morning in South Carolina because of the possible impact on the coast. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's hurricane season. I was thinking about it earlier. It's almost no matter where you live, right? The West Coast has fires. The Midwest, tornadoes, Northeast, the snowstorms, and they get hit with the hurricanes. Southeast, obviously hurricanes. So it's like no matter where you go, is there a place in like the states in the United States that you don't need to worry about any Mother Nature in any places? I don't know if there's any. I don't know. Maybe like I guess maybe Arizona, New Mexico, right? But I guess you're dealing with 110 heat in the summer, so kind of crazy. Dale is here. Good morning, Dale. Appreciate you being here. Michael's here. Appreciate you being here, stopping in. Yeah. So wanted to shout out channel members. Start there this morning. So just a big shout out to the channel members. We do have channel memberships. Try to help support the channel and kind of goes back into everything that we do between the CBC Awards and giveaways and things like that. So I got to work on, we've kind of slowed down giveaways now. We used to do giveaways almost every 100 subs as we were getting to 1,000 and 2,000, and we're at 2,700 subs. So, which is kind of crazy to think, but we're certainly going to do a big giveaway at 3,000 when and if we hit that. But I got to get back to doing some smaller giveaways. We'll probably get back to that after the CBC Awards. After that wraps up, we'll get back to doing some Saturday morning giveaways. But shout out to the channel members: Cat Fan, Kingdom of Nerds, Naman, Dave, Philtastic, and Philtastic's on a little bit of a break. Miss having Phil around. G Marlowe, Terry, Deadman Comic Show, Ralph's Retro Comics, S Vaughn 82, which Scotty's been kind of MIA. Miss Scotty, hope he gets back. Matt likes comics. Matt is always busy. So, but yeah, wanted to recognize the channel members, shout them out. Let's see. Let's see. Alaska, right? Well, I guess Alaska, yeah, but right. I guess you get the whole, daylight, and snow. I actually had a high school friend of mine who lived in Alaska for years, like 25 years. He actually is an attorney, and he was like the district attorney for the state of Alaska, prosecuting all kinds of stuff, moose crimes, all kinds of things. But yeah, I think the weather, right, and then the daylight thing was a little strange. But yeah, probably no natural disasters up there, right, or weather, Mother Nature, other than the snow. Welcome to Costco. They don't say that when you come to Costco, though, Phil. They just want to check your membership and give you free samples of food. I don't. I mean, my wife, who works at Costco, tells me she loves me, but not any of the other Costco members or employees. But good to see Phil here this morning. Scrolling. Let's see. Comic Mike is here. Morning, Mike. I'm sure Mike will be doing. Mike is always pumps out a bunch of great videos over the weekend, so I'm sure he'll be getting some new content out this weekend. Let's see. Chunko's here. Good morning, Chunko. And he's going to be live tonight with Rich. And I'm wearing the big nasty comic T-shirt, but Rich and Chunko do their Saturday night streams, so definitely go check them out. They had a great artist on last week. That was a great discussion with her, just kind of, and she's I'm drawing a blank on her name. Sure, I don't want to mess it up, but and what's interesting, and I got to go back. I didn't catch all of it. She's an artist, obviously cover artist. She's been doing a lot of cons. I actually follow her on Instagram, and but she's got a big music career too. She's multi-talented, music and art. So pretty cool. Wisconsin, maybe, yeah, I guess maybe some of those Midwest or those probably more Northwest states, right? Um, let's see. Yeah, yeah. He's got some. He moved out of Alaska. My high school buddy of mine, like I said, district attorney in there, and he would, obviously didn't see him much because he was in Alaska, but he would tell me some stories of some of the crazy crimes that were going on in Alaska. But now he's actually in. I think he's in DC doing some prosecution in DC. So I'm sure that's like night and day compared to Alaska. So Big Lyle's the guest tonight. Shakisha, I'm gonna say it wrong. She was a great guest. I'm not gonna if I hear it, then I can pronounce it, but I'm reading it, I'm gonna mess it up. But Big Lyle and Lyle's got a great collection, so that should be fun. But yeah, definitely go check out the replay from last Saturday. Manny's here. Good morning, Manny. Hope you are doing well. Raf's here. We mentioned Raf earlier. He's here. He does a great weekly video that you got to go check out. Every Sunday he drops a new video. Well done, well researched, talking about deep diving into comic books and comic book history. He just did a series, 2 videos of the top 50 comic book artists that you got to go check out. Really really fun to watch. And it's tough to pick a list of 50 because there's so many great artists. But yeah, definitely go check that out. Let's see. CBC Awards. Let's talk CBC Awards. We are 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from voting closing. So October 11th, and we'll be actually live that morning That's our next live stream on Saturday Morning Comics. So, but yeah, so CBC Awards. There's the website. All of the finalists. Definitely go check them out. Link them up. Scrolling down to all of our sponsors. So a big shout out to our sponsors this year. And been talking with Gemini Comics. So they are providing. They did a very generous sponsorship, a lot more than what we were kind of asking for. They're going to send me gift cards for all of the winners. So all of the winners will get a Gemini a gift card to be able to buy, supplies, mailers, whatever you need. And it's interesting. I didn't realize they were, other than, everybody I think thinks of Gemini as the mailers, but they have a bunch of other, they have the bags and boards and a lot of other stuff. So BCW as well, they're going to be providing some material, some bags, boards, boxes, that type of stuff for our winners. And then, just go check out all of the, between the finalists and all of the sponsors. Please go check them out, support them. Can't thank the sponsors enough for their sponsorship and supporting the awards. And we are working on, I mentioned in the latest CBC Awards update video, we are working on a possible new trophy with Wham Stand. They are working on something for us. Didn't mean to do that. Let's check in on the live votes. Let's see how many votes we have in. So not going to give anything away, but 1,726 votes in so far. And I did check midweek, and there's still, some votes. Some of the categories are still very close. Just 3 or 4 votes separate, first, second, third place in some of the categories. So definitely go. If you haven't voted, please get that in, because it will determine, some of the categories. There's some categories that there's been some runaway, some people that have been way out in front really since the beginning, but there are some categories that are very close. So you definitely need to get your votes in if you haven't. And appreciate everybody who did. 1,700. Now, taking a look, I think last year, I'll have to go back and look. I took a peek earlier. We did almost close to 3,000 votes. So definitely way down off the mark we set last year. But I think this last week is when we'll see the last week. It's kind of like you get a rush of votes early, and then they kind of trickle in the middle weeks, and then that last week is when everybody says, "Oh, I gotta vote before it closes." So, Kingdom of Nerds, Bruce is here. Good morning, Bruce. So again, just appreciate everybody who's voted already, supporting, shouting out, sharing, all of that stuff, all good stuff. So, I think let me take a quick. Let me stop sharing and we'll take a look. Because last year was definitely, and I have that kind of right here. Let me just bring it back up. I can give you a comparison of the number of votes, because I know last year was kind of the highest ever. So finalist voting. Yeah, so last year we had 3,097 finalist votes. Here, I can share it. Let's see. Where is it? 2024. So 3,000. So we're kind of, I'm surprised, because in all of the other nominations and things, year over year, we've grown, but not in the finalist voting so far this year, unless we get, we need about 1,400 votes in the next 2 weeks, which I don't think we're going to do that, but I'm sure we're going to get it, several hundred, but I doubt we'll do, I doubt we'll do that many. So, and sometimes I'll have to look. Actually, last year, I think there was maybe a couple big channels that really pushed the awards and got a bunch of their viewers to vote. So that may have been the reason why, but I'll definitely take a look at it. I have Comic Issues. Bryant's here. Good morning. I'll be hanging out. That reminds me, I'll be hanging out with Bryant tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, on his show. We'll be talking all things YouTube and comic book YouTube. So definitely check that out. Taku Mike, one of our finalists this year. Good to see you. Let's see a few other people jumped in. Thought I saw. No, okay. Taku Mike. Yeah, I want to make sure I got it right. Yeah, and so as I mentioned, I'll be hanging out with. I have Comic Issues Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then I'm actually hanging out with Katie, K-pop Junkie, tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern to talk. Let me get. It's the only thing about you can't share multiple screens on StreamYard and pop them up. You got to kind of go back and forth. So yeah, gonna be hanging out with K-pop Junkie tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern. A little late for me, but hey, I'm gonna have some extra caffeine and stay awake. But the final day, we're talking Damsels of Halloween in Horror, the comic book, the art book, really, comic book formatted art book that features several community artists. So this wraps up the campaign wraps up tonight. So today's the last day. So we're going to be hanging out with Katie, kind of closing out the project. And then the books are going to go to the printer probably Monday or Tuesday. And then hopefully get them back. I think we have like a 3-week turnaround from the printer. And then we are going to get them shipped out just in time for Halloween. So that was kind of my goal with this, kind of being a horror Halloween themed art book. We're going to get them out. So definitely today's the last day to support it. We will definitely have some extra copies. When I print the book, we usually always bring in extra copies, additional copies other than what was sold or pledged in the Kickstarter. So, yeah, looking forward to that. K-pop's always a good hangout with K-pop. So looking forward to that. Christina's here. Good morning, Christina. Appreciate you being here. We've got both of the mod extraordinaires, Christina Payne and JSS Brooklyn. So appreciate you both being here. Is today? Today is, that's right, local, right? Local comic shop day, right? Community day. And I know there are a few other, next month, right? They do a trick or read day as well. So a bunch of different things happening where we had Batman Day last Saturday at the LCSs. So good stuff. Good stuff. Are you, Phil, are you breaking out of somewhere? You needed a nail file? But let's see. What else did I want? So we talked about members. We talked about the CBC Awards. So like I said, 2 weeks. We'll definitely be, like I said, we'll be live the last day of voting here Saturday morning. So we'll be definitely talking about that. I'm definitely providing an update on the CBC Awards YouTube channel as well, probably next week as well. And then, we've already started planning for the live show where we announce the winners. I'm going to be reaching out to some community members to get hopefully their involvement and getting some videos and things put together for the live stream, and gotta get with Nate and Hagen for hosting. We've talked a few times, but but yeah, so we'll be doing that once voting closes. Then it's all the prep for the actual live stream. So Neil is here. Canned Onion Collectibles. If you didn't know, that is Neil Collects. Collectomania You know him many names, but it's Neil, our buddy Neil. Neil, appreciate you being here. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well. I know. I think you guys are over on Twitch still, right? You're doing some of your gaming over on Twitch. So hopefully that is going well. Appreciate you being here. Comics Curing Cancer, yeah, that's we're rapidly approaching that too. Christina, thanks. I didn't have that. I sent in. I actually did a video, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, showing what I donated. Rob actually highlighted it too on the Comics Curing Cancer Instagram page. And then remember, that is the weekend of October 24th, 25th, 26th. I don't think they've released the show lineup. I've heard a few people talk about it. I know Izzy's going to be doing something. Mark, Legion of Comics, usually kicks it off Friday morning on his Legion Lair stream Friday morning. And I know K-Pop's doing an overnight stream. So there's going to be a lot. I don't think they've, like I said, officially announced the schedule, but I'm sure it'll be coming soon on their link tree. So you still got time to donate. So yeah, if you have something to donate, reach out to Rob or DJ or Mark and get those donations in. But I think it's, they're gonna, if you're gonna donate anything, you need to get that in soon. So Christina, thank you for that reminder. Yes, LCS Community Day. I totally forgot about it. I'm gonna have to stop in to my shop today and say hello and support them. Always do every week. Buying books. So, yeah, Mike is saying here, Wolverine. PlayStation announced I didn't grab it. Announced or showed off the game trailer for the Wolverine PS5 game, and I was amazed at how bloody and violent it was for a video game. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that for a video game, but I was surprised that for a Marvel video game, right? Because usually they don't go, maybe Deadpool, Wolverine, right? But Wolverine, the game you got to check out that trailer. Looks amazing. Insomniac Gaming, who has done all the Spider-Man games, the Miles Morales games, which have been big hits. It looks amazing. It's not going to be an open world. So in Spider-Man, it's kind of open city, New York City. They kind of built the entire city and you can swing around and explore, all of Manhattan. But Wolverine is not, but still looks amazing, right? And I think in the trailer, they confirmed we have Omega Red and Mystique as villains. So it looks really good. Only downside, I don't think it comes out until fall of next year. So it's still a little bit of ways. But if you don't know, Insomniac has had a long track record. I'm a big fan of their Ratchet and Clank games. It was a game that I started playing with my kids when my kids were a lot younger, and because it was kind of a family friendly game, but they could play it and have fun, and then I could play it and enjoy it. And so I was hooked on their games early on. Ratchet and Clank. I have all of the Ratchet and Clank games, and then obviously they did the Spider-Man games, and now they've got the Wolverine games. So. Justin's here. Justin taking the plunge on Magic cards, I saw. Mike is here, Casino Comics. Mike, hope you're doing well. Hopefully the casino and the patrons are treating you well and not driving you crazy. Rich is here. We've got a bunch of people hanging out with us this morning. Comic Cap Collectibles. Appreciate you being here. Rich, a finalist in the CBC Awards too. Best cleaning and pressing. Adam is here. Good morning, Adam. Adam, one of our artists in the Kickstarter, Damsels of Halloween and Horror, and also a finalist in the CBC Awards. So definitely go check out Up and Adam. And you got to see the cover, the artwork he did for SideQuest Comics. Eric, he did a great Wolverine cover. I think they both had posted it up on Instagram, and I know Eric showed it off in his video, Side Quest Comics. Such a great cover uh, with Eric involved. So definitely go check that out. Adam does some great artwork. Um, yeah, the Wolverine looks great. I mean, that's definitely going to be a buy for me. I haven't really bought a new game in some time because I have a bunch of old games that I can play through, or even part of being a PlayStation member, you get access to monthly free games that you can add to your library. So I haven't really bought any new games in a while. So, but Wolverine will probably be the next new game that I buy for sure. That's right. Yeah, you got New York City Comic Con in Baltimore. Baltimore, yeah, in October. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely we'll be seeing all of the con footage, and yeah, October is going to be a busy month. Yeah, Insomniac is they have been really one of my favorite, like I said, favorite game developers. So all right, maybe Adam and Christina will see each other at the shop today. Oh no, he's not. He's looking to hang at home. So oh, where was that fun card show and discussion last night? Really enjoyed it. Was Justin streaming? I'm sure. I know he. I saw that he picked up. Let's get rid of this. The magic cards. I picked up a set myself for the Spider-Man Marvel cards. I actually have some videos coming out in the next week or so, but picked up. I am not. I've never been a Magic collector, but obviously when they announced the Spider-Man set, I was all in. So this is a play booster. So this was 30 packs, 14 cards per pack. So I have right to my right, I have a ton of Magic cards, a couple hundred Magic cards right here. So yeah, I bought a bunch of different sets, bought a pre-release set. And my son Evan is down at in Atlanta, Magic Con in Atlanta this weekend, and he actually sent me a text message. Um, let's see, he's just texting me now too. He's telling me they have Spider-Man action figures at the con. But he did send me this, so he picked me up. You can see it. Let's see if we can. It's on my. So it's a Amazing Spider-Man. What am I getting? Let's see. Well, there you go. That's better. Magic comic book. So the Amazing Spider-Man #1, and it's I don't know what's inside. It's in a poly bag. So he picked me that up at the con, and then he was sending me some pictures of they had a lot. That was a big display. They had the Infinity Gauntlet with the Soul Stone card. That card there, the Soul Stone card, is like one of the most valuable cards in this. And there's it's not really focusing, but you can see the Daily Bugle in the background. So yeah, so he's down in Atlanta right now at Magic Con. So yeah, I took a plunge and bought the Magic cards, but I don't know much about the game, but I was learning about the different variations of cards. Let me see. In rarities and things like that. So I've certainly increased my knowledge on Magic over the last week or so. And I actually picked up all of the cards at I went down for Batman Day to ABX Comics and Games. Got to see Mark, Legion of Comics, and Roscoe. Got to hang out with them and picked up my cards from their shop, from ABX, Paul's shop. So, yeah, so you're probably going to see a lot of Magic card openings on my my channel over the next couple weeks. So, um, yeah. Let me see. Let me catch up. Oh, all right, Mike. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Rivals is going strong. I tried to play Rivals, and it's just my my hand-eye coordination is just too slow. Fortnite I can handle. Rivals was just too much for me. I played it couple times, a couple hours, and it was too fast for me. I can't keep up with the young kids playing that game, so I wasn't really having fun. Loved the characters in Rivals, but it was just yeah, I'm past my video game prime, I think. Right, I can't mash the buttons as much as I or as fast as I used to. So um so yeah, definitely go check it out. Check it out, Adam. Definitely very very bloody, very violent. That's what kind of struck me. I mean, it looks amazing. The quality of the game itself, the visuals look amazing. So yeah, I think there's a pretty good group that's going to Baltimore. I think JSS will be there, and I think there's some other from the community going. Barry, good morning. Um, Thanks, Christina, thanks for stopping in. Let's see, I'm way behind on the chat. Um, oh, okay, that's a good. Yeah, I have a couple border lists that I pulled. Um, I think the Gwen Stacy might be. Thanks, Mike. Safe travels. Thanks for stopping in. I think the borderless, and it's somewhere in my stack of cards over here. Yeah, the collector, which I've learned, the collector packs are very expensive, right? Like, if you buy like a booster box of collector packs, it's like $500. You can buy some collector packs for like individual packs for like 40, 35, $40. So, but yeah, I mean, I bought the play booster box, so I have over 300 cards. So I'm just looking to build the set to have the complete set. So certainly looking to trade cards to complete the set if anybody's willing. I know Justin. I saw Nick's Kicks and Comics bought some cards. Couple comics bought some of the Spider-Man Magic cards. So Rod is here. Good morning, Rod. Congrats to your Phillies and your Eagles. The Eagles are off to a good start. Phillies took the NL East. So good stuff. Let's see. Right, yeah. Mark, didn't he do Mark Spears was that was a Kickstarter, right? He was doing that via Kickstarter, I think. Yeah, I have the game. I played the role playing game back in the 80s. Kind of played Dungeons and Dragons a little bit, and then played the Marvel game. And I have it. It's sitting in my closet right over there. I picked it up off eBay because my original. I don't know what I did with my original game that I had, but all right, yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. I'll have to dig out my set for maybe next time we stream on a Saturday. I'll dig that out and we can talk about that. JSS dropping the link to the Wolverine game. Rod, have a good one. Thanks for stopping in. Let's see. I think I'm almost caught up. Yeah, big sports weekend, right? You've got the end of the Major League Baseball season, and playoff spots being determined. You've got the Ryder Cup back in my old neck of the woods in Long Island, Bethpage, Long Island. You've got obviously college football, NFL football. We've got hockey's preseason, right? October is the month because you've got basically all of the sports. You've got playoff baseball, you've got college, NFL football, you've got NBA back, NHL back. So yeah, we're getting into prime sports season. And yeah, and the New York Giants will have a new quarterback tomorrow, their rookie quarterback that they drafted. So looking forward to seeing what he does, whether he's going to be good or not. I'm trying to see if I have I don't think I do. I have some Giant cards, but this was the Jim Zorn that I recently won from Cash and Dad, Pack Busters, little signed card. That's the only football card I have in front of me. But yeah, so looking forward to that, seeing what the New York Giants do. Okay. Role-playing game that came out in early 2020. I don't know. That one I'm not sure. I'm talking about the one that came out in the 80s. It was it TSG, I guess, put it out. Same company that did Dungeons and Dragons. So, okay. I'll have to check that out. I'm sure if I pull that up, that I'll know what it is. Let's see. Let me bring that up. Marvel. Click on the cursor. Let's see. Marvel.com/. Let's see. Oh, okay. I didn't even know this was a thing. Let me share this. Let me share, and we can talk about it here. I didn't even know they did a new game. Multiverse role-playing game. Now, is this, it says try free, downloadables. Oh no, okay. So it is kind of an in-person game, right? Let's see. Spider-Verse expansion. So you can buy it on Amazon, Target, Barnes and Noble. And I guess there's all different expansion packs. Yeah, I was talking. Let me grab it. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back. I'm still here. Entertain yourselves. Where is it? Oh. So this is what I'm talking about here. This was the one from back in the day. So these are like the player cards. So you could, you basically can cut these out. And these were your player cards, which are the different attributes. So it has all of their information on the back. So, Spider-Man, it has all of his different fighting, his agility, his endurance. But we cut these out. And I was such a crazy person when I was a kid. I cut these out and then I laminated each of the cards. But then here is one of the campaigns that came with it. And then here is the JSS is mentioning it here. Here's so this was TSR. Did I say what TSG? TSR, right? So same company that did Dungeons and Dragons, right? Because it actually says from the producers of Dungeons and Dragons game on the top there. But yeah, it gave you all of the different, so it was the basically Dungeons and Dragons, but set in the Marvel universe. So you had, obviously rolling of the dice and, um, yeah, this was kind of the rule book that gave you everything. It's the Watcher. But yeah, I played this. I was kind of the I'm drawing a blank on what you call it. I ran the game for my friends when we played. I remember running. It was funny when Endgame and that came out. One of my friends reached out. He's like, "Hey, is that bad guy Thanos the guy you used in the in the game back in the day?" And I was like, "Yeah." So and then they have like different maps. This was a whole like map section here. It like folds out all the different, build when you built a campaign, you had a different maps and that. So yeah, I didn't realize they had kind of rebooted that. So definitely need to check that out. And now I'm way behind on. Oh, here is JSS dropping it. Yeah, this the yellow book. There you go. Justin's here. Good morning, Justin. Appreciate you being here. I reached out to Justin yesterday too, talking about the cards, the Magic cards. I want to put them in a binder and kind of just collect the set. And I reached out to Justin. He was nice enough to help me point me in a direction of what binders and card sleeves to use. So appreciate that. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. New game doesn't work with the old. All right. I'll have to check out the new game, though. I didn't even realize that they were producing a new one. It wasn't even on my. Oh, okay. Got it now. You're catching me up. Let's see. Okay, Ninja Turtle and a Star Trek one. I don't remember that. Let's see. Yeah, with all of it's interesting too, right? Because some of the board games, right, Monopoly and some of the just like classic board games that have been around for so long. I wonder why some of the role playing games haven't. Obviously, Dungeons and Dragons, right? But you would think that some of the other ones, the other Marvel and Star Wars, right? Star Water. All right, everybody's subbing everybody up. I like to see it. And then, yeah, right, Warhammer, right? I know my son, who's the Magic fan, plays Warhammer as well. So, yeah, yeah, I'm amazed when I go into some of the shops. ABX Comics, they have a lot of the art, the role playing games and a lot of the card games. So obviously, how a lot of the comic shops can diversify some of their their income. But I'm amazed at the amount of with Warhammer, the amount of models and miniatures that they have for for the set. So yeah, it definitely does. With the like I said, with the amount of stuff I've seen at the shops, all of the minifigures and all that, yeah, it definitely seems like it's expensive. Durs collecting with Durs. What is up? I'm sure he's going to be busy in October. I think he's heading to New York Comic Con. I don't know if he's going to Baltimore, but yeah, we'll be seeing Durs hitting the streets soon again after what San Diego was probably his last big con with Rups Comics. Definitely go check him out. Oh, nice. I know. Yeah, there's been a few D&D kind of groups going. I think John's Comics with Friends recently did a group as well. I think they're they've got a group of community members that are playing D&D. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I haven't played D&D in so long, probably, 18, 19 years old. Was probably the last time I played. So it's been a couple of years. But yeah, definitely interested to check that out. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? It seems like it. I remember it being everywhere, and then it kind of died off. But now it seems to be coming back. All right, New York Comic Con, he'll be there. Gene is here. Good morning, Gene. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Let's see. All right, I'm making plans for Baltimore. Yeah, I know there's a group. I think Izzyverse is going. I think there's a few others that are definitely have mentioned that they'll be going to Baltimore. So that'll be good. That'll be good. Yeah, interesting. I will not be attending either Baltimore or New York. Laying low for now, but yeah, interesting to watch everybody. There he is, John's Comics with Friends. We mentioned John. We were just talking about we were talking about D&D and role playing games. I was showing off the old Marvel game from the 80s. I know are you running a group or you're part of a group, a D&D group? Let us know. Drop us some information in the chat. So D&D player. Wow. That's interesting. Let me get back. So yeah, I think the only other thing I was interesting, I wanted to hear from the chat. I'll throw it up on. So I had I ran into it a few times this week where people in the community, whether it's cards or comics, will say like, and I put it as badge of honor, but I don't even know how to categorize it. But people will say, well, I've never sold anything. Like I had made a comment about somebody was opening a box of cards, and I said, hey, did you make your money back? And he's like, oh, I had no idea. I never sell anything. And I know we hear people say that in kind of the community, even on the comic side, like I never get rid of any of my comics, or I don't check on prices. And so when I hear somebody say that or I read their comment, for me, I kind of get taken back by that comment or get kind of put off by that comment. I don't know. I have a weird reaction to that comment because I know for me with collecting, my interests change over the years. I'm not going to lie. I've always been a Spider-Man fan and continue to be a Spider-Man fan, but some other books maybe, come and go out of my collection, or I bought Magic cards for the first time. So things change, right? Things change. And so when I hear somebody say like, oh, I never sell anything, or I don't care, it's just, I find that interesting because I'm like, I know for me, like I said, personally, I sell stuff that I'm not interested in anymore, or try to, figure out ways to fund the hobby, those type of things. So I kind of wanted to throw it out to the chat and say, what do you guys think of those type of comments? It reminds me of that same comment that people say, well, I don't care about subs and views, and I'm just here to have fun. And to most of us, to that degree, I think that's true. But I think we're competitive by nature, and so we always kind of check in on those stats. We put some time and effort into making a video or doing a live stream. We want to see that people are watching it. So I don't know. I have an interesting like thought on that. So yeah, interesting to see what you guys think of it. Let's see. The Collector P, good morning. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, here it is. John was talking about his D&D. He is running a campaign. All right. All right. So it looks like we've got John running one. We've got Paul in the 619 will be running one. Um, let's see. Let's see. Catch up on some of the chat. Collector P. Yeah, I just I don't know. Like I said, every time I see those comments, it kind of makes me feel a little I don't know. I have a weird reaction to it because I'm like, how could you I don't know. I don't know. How could you not be aware of what some things are worth? Or, if you're spending a couple $100 on a box of cards, I think you want to make sure that you're, I don't know too many people that are just independently wealthy and that can just buy whatever they want. And so I know I'm always trying to be conscious of how I'm spending my money on collectibles, right? Things that aren't really, I don't need them, they're wants. So, um, yeah, definitely have an interesting thought on that. Yeah, no, and I think I think you have to categorize too some of the people. There are some people on YouTube that are just here. It's a business for them, right? They're making videos, they're selling, they're flipping books, and that's how they make, whether it's their full time living or an extra, a side hustle. Um, I think of like Very Gary. He falls into that category for me because he is a big time seller. He sells at a lot of cons, Terrific Con, New York City Comic Con. So, and a lot of his content is about buying and selling books. And so I always look at him as more, and I know he has like a personal collection, but I think of him more as like a business person as opposed to like a community member. I mean, he's a community member, but he's really here for selling books. So I think people are trying to stay away from flippers. Stigma flippers often don't feel like collectors or people in the hobby for the love of the hobby. Yep. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Um, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm of that opinion, right? If as times change, right? Something I may be really enjoying today may not be true in a couple years, and then I might sell that. Or, there's times that I bought something and then I buy a couple issues of a comic book, and I don't like the storyline, and then I'll sell those books or give those books away. So, yeah, no, I understand that. I think right at the heart of the collector, um, most collectors, right, it's tough for them to part ways with their collection for sure. So, yeah, right, right. But I think we look at them, we think as LCS owners as, um, this their. I look at it as that's their business, right? That's how they make their living. But it's interesting because I think if you talk to most LCS owners, probably 90% of them collect as well, have their own PC, and they probably get some better deals than most because a lot of stuff just walks in off the streets. So, um, yeah, yeah, that's the way I look at it, right? Wants versus needs, right? Take care of the needs. You got to take care of the basic needs, right? Shelter, food, transportation, that type of stuff. And then, whatever you have left over, you can spend, on the wants, right? And we see it, sneakers, cards, comics, whatever your vice is, traveling, food, going out to eat, those type of things. So, um, but yeah, that always worries me in the back of my mind. It's like, and Justin, Three Good Nerds is uh, a big person who talks about on his channel about not leveraging credit cards and you're using cash and being mindful of how you're spending money on the collectibles, right? That you don't get yourself into trouble. Um, yeah, I think and then that becomes an issue too, right? At some point, you run out of space, and you think of all of the, I think of all of the additional money that I spend on all of the the storage, the shelving, the boxes. There's a lot of money that's spent just on, storing the hobby, all of the different things. Um, yeah, no, I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't mind that people sell books, and they flip books or whatever, right? But it's just funny when somebody, well, like I said, the comment that I find funny is oh, I don't know, I have no clue what anything cost, or that's the one that kind of strikes me funny. So, um, yeah, that's too right. Sometimes I know I've done that where I've purchased duplicates of books, comic books, and so then maybe I won't keep two of the same. I might keep the best of the two, and then sell the other one for sure. Flippers be flipping. Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think you can stop them. But RA7, appreciate you stopping in. Not sure I've seen you here before. Yeah. No, I agree with that definitely. Like I said, it's more about uh, like I said, when somebody says, "Oh, I never sell anything," or "I never," um, I don't know what the market is or the prices are. I just find that funny because I think, how can you got to have a little bit of that knowledge in the back of your head about what things cost. So yes, Spidey. Yeah, that's true, right? As you get older, you certainly that's a concern. I know there's been some discussion with some of the community members about, how do you prepare the collection, right? Um, how do you curate that collection maybe, as you get older, to be, ready for, what like you said, if you're gone, what is the family going to do with, this room full of stuff? How are they going to handle it? So, um, down to live in or keep your collectibles in, Phil. uh, and Phil's got a pretty good collection too. He's got a pretty good amount of books. But yeah, no, it was a comment I ran across this week, and it just kind of made me think about that because, I'm constantly looking around my collection, figuring out, where I want to stay focused, what I want to collect. Um, and I struggle with buying the new books all of the time, because it just they seem to add more to the collection. If I just stopped buying new books and collect the old runs that I want to collect, I maybe have 12 to 1500 books, and that would be it. But, I'm buying 4 or 5 new books every week, and that's really filling up the short boxes and taking up the space. So, I'm trying to find that balance of maybe reading digitally and only, or maybe picking up trades. But I like I'm into the routine of going to the shop every Wednesday and picking up new books. So, um, yeah, that even routine is tough to break. Like, I know every Wednesday after work, I go to the shop, I pick up my books, I come home and I read. And so it's kind of the routine I've been in now for several years. So, um, that's a good point, Justin. Yeah. You don't value your collection, you're probably overpaying when you're adding to it. Yeah. That's a good way to think of it. Yeah, I think you're right. You certainly, if you're unless you're buying just new stuff off the shelf that has a price point, new comic book is 3.99, 4.99, 5.99, right? That's what you'll pay for it if you want to buy it. But if you're buying anything back issue type stuff, or old cards, baseball cards, football cards, you got to have some sense of what it's worth so that you don't fall into the trap of overpaying, right? Yep. Yep. And I that's why I stay away from, like, the toy collecting, because I think that's a big rabbit hole that you can fall into, and that can take up so much space. Between all of the Marvel Legends, the Star Wars figures, the all of the different collectible hot toys, all of that stuff. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that could take up a lot of space and certainly money. Uh, yeah, that's true, right? But I think there are some people that are thinking about it as when we're not here, right? When we're taking that dirt nap, what's that family member going to do with that collection? Like, we want to kind of set it up in a way that makes it easy for them to manage. At least that's what I know. I've thought about that. So, um, yeah, I mean, I'm for the most part, 95% of my collection is just comics. Got raw and slab books. I'm gonna try to collect the Spider-Man Magic set, just a complete set, have it in a binder. But I really don't try to get too much. I have got some stuff, some action figures, pop figures in the background, but that what you see on that shelf behind me is basically it. I don't have stuff squirreled away anywhere else. So, um, yeah, I remember that, Phil. You were doing like a series of videos where you were cataloging your collection through cover price, I think, right? So, yes, definitely have a plan to pass the baton. Yes, I agree. I agree. Right? Because if you don't, I think some comic shop or some collectible shop or is going to get some deal on your stuff, right? Because family members are just going to box it all up and either have an estate sale or bring it to a shop and sell it for 20%, sell it for take 20% of what it's worth. So yeah, you kind of have to have I don't think Phil collects catalogs, but he might. All of the Kroger ads or Costco. Maybe he's the Costco. Yeah, it's the routine, right? It's my Wednesday routine. I always go to the LCS. So uh, yeah, I definitely and I enjoy reading digitally. I mean, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I like to have touch and feel the print in my hands," which is good, but I like the flexibility that digitally reading offers, right? Either on my phone, tablet, computer, I can zoom in. Sometimes the text is tough to read in a printed book because they do some strange things with it sometimes, or the different colors that they use in some of the word bubbles. So I find it digitally, being able to zoom in and look at some of the text is much better. So, um, but yeah, like I said, it was a question that kind of came across in a comment this week, and somebody replied to a comment I said. I had asked them about how much did they get their value out of a box that they were opening, and somebody said, "Oh, I don't know," and so that kind of just kind of thought that it was something I wanted to mention to the rest of the people hanging out today to see what they thought. So yeah, and I know a lot of people do that, right? They'll kind of pair, right? Maybe a Spider-Man book with a Spider-Man statue, or whatever it may be, whatever the combo may be. But yeah, the statues, some of the statue stuff is crazy. That's true. That's true, right? Right? If you just buy and hold, you'll never see the value, right? And holding them for years, that you'll never see, the the benefit of the cost increase. So yeah, I just wish they had better turnaround times with some of the new books, like on the Marvel side, because right, it's like a 3 month, 4 month delay. I wish they had a better turnaround time. At least DC has the option, right? Their premium on DC, where you get the books like I guess within a month that they're released. So yes, yes, I just had my eyes checked. Um, yes, and that's why I think right the Zoom feature on a digital app is the best. Especially like I said, depending on who's who's lettering the book. If it's Justin Birch, then you're fine. But some of the other lettering and word bubble color choice that they use, or even text choice, sometimes can be tough to read, right? So, but yeah, so that's what I got for you today. We're gonna wrap it up. Going out, got to do some errands, some shopping. But yeah, appreciate everybody stopping in this morning. We'll be back in 2 weeks. The 11th will be our next live stream Saturday morning, the last day of voting for the CBC Awards. So definitely join us then. But in the meantime, be hanging out with K-Pop Junkie tonight. And I have Comic Issues tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern over there, 11 p.m. Eastern tonight with K-Pop. So definitely be around. But yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Let's see. We got to leave you with something. I don't think we played any video clips today. Let's see. What are we leaving you with? We'll leave you with this one. But thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.